You are welcome to another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. While there are so many reasons why R. Kelly deserves to be freed from prison, the one single motion that should see this case closed off is the one to do with the abuse of his privacy and violation of the Privacy Act 552A. By now we all know well that during R. Kelly's detention at the Chicago MCC, the government together with some Bureau of Prisons officers and vlogger Tasha Kebe, commonly known as Tasha K, did plan a successful plot to gain illegal access to R. Kelly's prison communication recordings, one in which they were able to use this information to win over the loyalty of accuser Jane Doe, who did not waste any time to flip on R. Kelly and prefer to work as a government witness against him. It is important to understand that this was so wrong by the entire team of conspirators that did this, but above all this move was against the laws of this land. The government together with the BOP officers involved and the famous YouTube blogger Tasha K broke the law, and for this should be punished accordingly. As if illegally accessing the call records was not enough, conspirators went on to use this data for their intended purpose, which was to convince defense witness Azriel Clary to flip on R. Kelly and join the government in pinning him down, which tantamounts to witness tampering, an illegal act in itself. By engaging in this, therefore, the government broke the law not once but twice. First for illegal access and then for witness tampering. It's even crazy to imagine that the prosecutors still believe they should have leverage over R. Kelly, yet they did not follow the laws of this country when handling the matter. It's not optional that all legal matters be handled carefully to avoid breaking of laws in the process of indictment and trial. When it came to the case against R. Kelly, all the government was doing was break laws with unimaginable impunity. Because R. Kelly had been highly prejudiced through the media and by the court in the early days of his incarceration when he was unfairly denied bail, the government prosecutors felt they had all the power to violate his rights and get away with everything. R. Kelly had been condemned even way before trial and called all kinds of names no serial killer had ever been called. This likely emboldened the prosecutors from the district attorney's office to think they could do as they pleased for as long as their actions were always against the R&B King. Little did they know that they were being watched closely by some keen eyes of justice, and in fact all the dirty moves they made were eventually busted. It's now clear that the government rigged their way to securing a guilty for 10 counts conviction in New York that attracted a 30-year prison sentence, and the guilty for 6 out of 13 counts in Chicago that was accompanied by a 20-year sentence and one added to the 30 in New York. It's even weird that after all this legal malpractice was discovered and published for the whole world to see, we are still having debates on whether R. Kelly should be winning his appeals or not. This entire case against R. Kelly was due for dismissal way back the moment this kind of malpractice was discovered and confirmed by an FBI investigation to have occurred. However, when R. Kelly's attorney Jennifer Bonjean demanded that the FBI report be made public and accessible by the defense, this was denied. Just why was the report treated as top secret? They knew well that the contents of this report had the potential to break the entire case wide open, and in fact it should have seen the entire case and the 2 convictions overturned and R. Kelly set free. While government has the mandate to prosecute crime and the feds to collect all evidence related to the alleged crimes, the law also suggests that these exercises must be done in a manner that does not break the same law that gives them their mandate, or in any way infringe on a defendant's rights. The moment the government entered a conspiracy to steal R. Kelly's inmate communications with his girlfriends and attorney while he was detained at the MCC, the law was broken and the defendant's rights of privacy were violated. The Privacy Act 552 requires each agency that maintains a system of records to restrict the collection of information to only that relevant to the purpose, and to ensure the information remains accurate and to tell the subject from which the information is collected the purpose of collection. The Privacy Act generally protects certain federal government records pertaining to individuals. And in particular, it covers systems of records an agency maintains and retrieves by an individual's name or personal identifier. Unauthorized disclosure of such restricted records is therefore prohibited. The Act also gives the individual in question the rights to review such records and to know how much of this information has been disclosed such that they can make corrections to it. Jennifer Bonjean a while back did file a motion that demanded court to drop the case against R. Kelly basing on the fact that his prison communications were leaked to the general public in an illegal act. In her submission, Bonjean laid out all the rules that protect inmate communication information against illegal sharing with non-concerned parties. And clearly the laws clarify when and how this should be done, making the events pertaining to R. Kelly's emails and phone call sharing illegal and unacceptable. She makes it clear how the Bureau of Prisons primarily has an obligation to protect inmate data and information. Something they failed to do when it came to R. Kelly's situation. Instead, they connived with the prosecution to play cat and mouse with the defense witnesses and win over Ariel Clary as a government weapon against R. Kelly. The revelations of his prison communications being her primary motivation to testify against R. Kelly makes her testimony as good as null and void, for it doesn't represent the report of a woman of sound mind, but a spirit of revenge after she learnt that she was never R. Kelly's #1 choice. Anyone who is interested in the truth will in fact question Azriel's testimony, which is a representation of an angry woman's complaint against a cheating husband that will not choose her for a first wife, and this cannot be relied on. This may also explain exactly why all these women that disguised as victims were fighting R. Kelly in the first place. It was always about him dropping them and moving on to the next. No woman would hesitate to lie on a man that dumped her like that. It was never about R. Kelly's character or that he may have broken any laws in any way. These scorned women were only seeking to equalize the hurt they may have experienced after he left them with nothing. But again, leaving a woman for another is not a crime in accordance to the United States Constitution. The information that was shared was confidential and that therefore subject to protective order by the producing party, which shouldn't have leaked the same data. According to Aaliyah Shilongo, I have come to realize that the American government will always make sure that all successful African Americans are destined to struggle. And sadly they are able to achieve this easily with the help of fellow Black American people who will seemingly exchange their own people for cheap gifts and popularity. There is no doubt that it's not easy to be Black anywhere in the world. According to Harold Phillips, I hope R. Kelly can get protection from these crazy and money-hungry women only seeking financial gain from this. They all blame R. Kelly for doing things to them allegedly. What about the things they did to him? I hope he can sue them when he is finally free. And I pray he never returns to dealing with such malicious people. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.